Hello folks, well, all seeing eye, he says, what do you reckon on this Tomlinson, poor chap, he what got, hit from behind, and a little bit later on he dies, doesn't he? Well, apart from the fact it's very sad, and it's just sort of, I don't know, I mean, if you firstly, if you was a real decent sort, you wouldn't just go and attack somebody from behind, would you? I mean, that's a sort of cowardly thing to do, isn't it, for starters? Secondly, if somebody wasn't doing anything wrong, in other words, they're just walking along the street with their hands in their pockets, again, you wouldn't, if you was a decent sort, you wouldn't do anything to them, would you? It wouldn't matter whether you was police or not police. It wouldn't matter, would it? I mean, if somebody's minding their own business, doesn't matter where they are. I mean, we are supposed to be living in a free country where, and not everybody knows what's going on. I mean, that poor bloke, he probably didn't know what was going on there, did he? I mean, just on his way home from work, as far as we know, anyway. So he's wondering. He probably does that same, or did. Sorry, excuse me. Did that route same like he always did, I expect. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that, but most people stick to sort of routines, don't they? He's unfortunate in the wrong place at the wrong time, but that shouldn't. He should have just been able to carry on, because I mean, he wasn't doing anything wrong, was he? So you think, well, even what sort of person would do what they did to him? I mean, attack somebody from behind, which is what they did. Now, if we went up to a police officer and we attacked them from behind, I think there might be a few questions asked right there. Eh? Now, admittedly, but there probably is being some questions asked, but that's not the point. The whole point is not that the police should do something bad and then we should ask a few questions and maybe a few people might be suspended or whatever. It shouldn't happen in the first place. No, there's certain people in society who, I mean, it's good and bad in all sorts, right? But certain members of society, you expect to be a little bit better than the rest, don't you? Certain areas, like, because the police has got a very sort of, they should be holding up a really high standard, because otherwise you can't. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some decent police officers, and I mean a lot of police officers. You think about it. And they have to go and deal with some drunks or something like that. They put themselves at risk. So I mean, a lot of police officers is good people, and I suspect a lot of people that go into the police do so because they feel that they want to help other people, and the way they want to do that is help protect them. So as I say, a lot of police officers is good folks, and again, it's like a lot of things, isn't it? Because of the actions of a few, we tend to then associate all of them as bad, and they're not all bad. I know I'm sort of kind of, I don't, but again, there's, if something happens bad, sort of in the ordinary public happens bad, they tend to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, something bad happened, let's ban it. Right? Now, if the police did something bad, we don't all jump on the thing and say, oh, right, ban the police, do we? But that's the way it works for other things, isn't it? I mean, somebody gets hurt for whatever reason, something or other, oh, right, we need to regulate that, we need to ban that. Right? But if somebody gets hurt by the police, we don't ban the police, do we? And who polices the police? So, as I say, I mean, it's again, and then there's who's controlling who, because if you're working for any of these sort of what I call state-run type organisations, like the police or any of the emergency services, they've all got procedures. They've all got, if this happens, this is a procedure to follow. If that happens, this is a procedure to follow. It's just the way it works. And because they, in a lot of cases, they have the procedures partly to protect the public and partly to protect the people what is doing whatever they're doing. So, did you follow procedure? Yes. All right. Okay. And if it don't work or whatever, then was the person following procedure? Yeah. So they was doing it in a professional way and doing what they were supposed to do. If that procedure didn't work, well, then they're protected because they was doing in a way what they was supposed to be doing. Okay. Now, so that brings up the question: why did the police officer go up behind the bloke who's obviously with his hands in his pockets? He wanted, and his back was to him, so he wasn't exactly in a threatening posture, was he? He wasn't exactly shouting and writing or anything like that, was he? I mean, so what procedure was that police officer following? I don't think he was. Which then begs the question: what's going on? And I don't know. It's again, is it like these? Is there certain specialist officers who are sort of specialist ones that are a little bit of a different, an elite, shall we say, that can be used for intimidatory purposes? And maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a kind of, it was a warning to other people. You know, we're big and tough, and look what we can do to this poor bloke. Or could it have been, again, were the police themselves frightened? And it was a case of, well, wanting to show a bit of force so that people would, you know, maybe not show any force against them. Because you don't know. I mean, we get fear from being intimidated, and maybe, again, because they're just like us, aren't they? Well, they are us, aren't they, really? Are they getting fear? And does that mean then that some of them lose it a bit? You know, they get a bit, crikey, and they don't follow the procedure because they've kind of, I don't know, it's, you know, who's frightened of who? Who's trying to intimidate who? I don't know, but I won't ramble on too much about more of this, but it just seems a bit, as I say, a bit cowardly. It doesn't matter who you are. You know, to attack the bloke from behind. I mean, that you've got to have a yellow streak in you for that, ain't you? I mean, it's just, you don't do it. I mean, even if you was a bit disagreeable with somebody, if you're a decent sort, you man to man, you know, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go sneak up behind them. That's all, innit? So I just think that's a bit, mind you, they were wearing in yellow, so maybe that's appropriate colour for that particular officer. As I say, a lot of good officers out there, and I have to deal with some right nasty sorts. So we can't tar them all with the same brush, so to speak. Because but maybe the good ones perhaps ought to have a few words, you know, and sort out the bad apples, because, as we know, I mean, if the good ones don't sort out the bad ones, then they'll all get a bad reputation, and then when a good police officer maybe is in trouble and needs some decent folks to go and help them, people say, oh, no, I won't. because they get this impression, they get this, and they get this, oh, I'm not helping them, they're nasty people. It's sort of, and it happens with all sorts of things, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm over my 10 minutes, but